I know what you're probably thinking. Why in the world would this 21-year-old grizzly bearded man want to be talking about this Nickelodeon preschool movie, Paw Patrol the movie? And the only answer I can give you is that I'm a movie reviewer and I feel obligated to cover every single movie that I possibly can. But Brad, it's a kid's movie. You're not gonna enjoy it. It's not made for you. Are you done yet? Let's get on over to the review. Welcome back, film fans. This is Let's Be Real, Brad. Today on the channel, I want to be talking about the brand new Canadian computer animated comedy adventure film called Paw Patrol the movie. My little brother, who is 7 years old, has watched it since he was a little kid, and so therefore, I have actually watched a couple episodes of the show, and I really enjoy it quite a bit for a Nickelodeon preschool show because I think it has some great messages, it has a really cool concept, and it's very entertaining and it gets the job done. So when I saw this new movie coming out and with the trailer looking pretty decent, I was way more excited. So with getting that out of the way, did I enjoy Paw Patrol the movie? Or did I think it was just some garbage, trash animated movie like Spirited Untamed? And I have to say, I had a good time watching Paw Patrol the movie, and I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. So let's start off with the first positive here, and we're gonna start with the animation. This is the biggest upgrade to this entire movie because if you have seen the original show, the animation isn't all that great. The filmmakers and the animators were able to take all these character designs, scratch them, and to be able to rebuild them, and they look so good. I could not stop staring at the textures, the color design, and the character design itself of all the characters in this movie. And I think this is the best this movie is ever going to look because I thought it was stunning, and I think it shows that the filmmakers clearly had a passion for this movie and wanted to make it good. The next positive I can give this movie is the pacing. This movie moves quite fast and almost too fast at times, which I think is the best thing they could have done with this movie, considering that you have younger kids for this film and adults that are taking the kids to this movie. There is a ton of action with this movie that I was very surprised by, considering that this is a feature-length movie and the show is about 22 to maybe 24 minutes. There was so much action going on, and that was such a big surprise because if you have seen the original show, there isn't a ton of action going on because, well, it's a preschool show. I'm not gonna be doing some crazy rescues over here, but this movie, they go all in trying to save all these people from all these dangerous situations, and I was having an absolute blast. This is a good thing because this movie could have been very slow, drawn out, have a ton of dialogue between the characters, but I feel like this movie accurately depicts the show. And my last positive with this movie is the music. I was pleasantly surprised with the score in this movie because when the action scenes were going down, they were really good. I was genuinely shocked and saying to myself, why does this movie have a pretty decent score for Paw Patrol the movie? But nonetheless, when the action's going down or when they're suiting up in their vehicles, I was generally getting some weird goosebumps. Now, let's get into some of the negatives I have with this movie, and we're gonna start with the repetition. This movie repeats itself so many times in this movie, and I think that is only because when you're trying to adapt the show, which is just basically the same thing in every single episode, it's very hard to adapt into a feature-length movie without being bored or getting too deep with the characters because it's a very simplistic movie and show. I did find the villain of this movie to be very annoying and just basically a cartoon character, and I get it, he works for the simplistic movie that it is, and I know he's in the original show, so I get it. But they just did a lot of the basic, easy, and lazy things. My next negative is that I feel like we have seen this premise before. There is nothing new that is going on. I felt like that they could have taken a little bit more chances with the movie, and they could have respected the audience just a little bit more. I know this sounds very harsh and a little bit too critical, but I do have to say this because I think a lot of adults are going to pick up on this while watching. My last negative with this movie that personally affected me and it won't affect the kids is that they don't go too deep with the characters. But they do try to go somewhat deep with them. But if you're going to try to go deep, at least take it a little bit further, because I think there was a lot of great moments going on, especially with the Chase character, who I've always really enjoyed the most. And I felt like with the character of Ryder, they could have went a little bit deeper into him and his relationship with Chase. So overall, guys, Paw Patrol the movie was an enjoyable experience, and I think you should definitely take your kids to see it because they are absolutely going to love this movie. This movie is clearly made for kids, and that is not a family movie, which is a video I have covered if you want to check down below in the description, because I have a lot to say about that. But trying to compare it to the original source material of the show, I think it did so many things better than that original show, and I had a good time watching it. I'm giving Paw Patrol the movie a 6 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope I see you all in the next video.